Okay, after looking at the film and dissecting it, there was plenty to learn from. We had a lot of really good things in the tape. We got to play a lot of young kids, and so we got some reps with them, and that are going to be valuable going forward. And then there were plenty of mistakes that were made throughout the game that we were fortunate to win and still be able to learn from those mistakes. So we've got to again get those corrected. But there were some really good things coming out of the tape.
Did you see on film defensively enough progress that you feel pretty good moving forward, like maybe they're on the right track?
Well, I saw progress. I saw communication. We didn't have communication problems. The guys did a much better job of that. I think they executed their pressures well. There were a couple that we gave up some plays on a couple pressures, but I thought other than those two, they fitted up pretty well.
We asked you about Tyler after the game, Tyler Powell's impact. When you look back on film, what was the impact that he had in that game, even though he only had one tackle?
Yeah, he was where he was supposed to be. He was doing his job in every scenario. There was he didn't have mistakes. He was able to give us some depth when Jalen went down and played inside also. So it's nice to have a guy back that can play multiple positions up front.
I know you don't talk specifically about injuries, which guys are hurt for what, but how does this situation compare to maybe some of your more dire injury situations in terms of numbers?
I mean, it's been tough since day one. It's just unfortunate. It is what it is, and it's the same old thing. Next guy's got to get up, and the next guy's got to play, and you hope you can build some type of continuity at some point.
How comfortable are you with your depth?
Well, I've never been comfortable with the depth, so it doesn't make it any better. So there's only been a few areas on the team where we had some depth and where we had some experience, and now that's gone. So,
has there been any season-ending injuries to this point, beyond what you've already announced?
You know what? No, not that I know of as of this point. So, I know by the end of this week, by Thursday, we've got to put something out if there is, and we'll do that.
How much uncertainty right now do you have going forward just for this Saturday on the offensive line?
We're gonna have 5 guys that go out there and 5 guys that fight their butt off. This is a big game for us, so our guys understand the importance of it, and Cap will get 5 that'll be ready to go. Whether we've had any continuity with the same 5, it is what it is.
To sort of piggyback on what Andrew asked, more specifically with the offensive line, have you had a situation where you had this much attrition?
Not that I remember.
What do you remember about the Chaz Surratt recruitment? You committed to Duke. You guys kept on him, obviously, and he flipped. What do you remember just about that whole situation?
I remember, that when he made the commitment, he wasn't real sure. He wasn't 100%, and so we just felt like we would, if they wanted us to continue to recruit him, we would, and they said they would, and so we continued to do that, and eventually, he decided this is where he wanted to be.
What do you think eventually won it for you guys?
I think, deep down in his heart, this is probably where he really wanted to go the whole time, and he just had to find the right time to make that decision.
And how much of a priority was he in that particular class at that moment?
He was important to us. He was the guy that we had picked from within the state that we felt like could help us win a championship. And so, especially at that position, when you have one in the state, you gotta find a way to get him.
And you took another QB before he committed. What's that conversation like? What's that conversation like with both those guys? Knowing you still wanted Strat.
Well, we said we had known we were going to take 2 that year. It's the way we had decided. And so every quarterback that we were recruiting at that time, we had told them that we were going to take 2. So, we try to have that planned out in advance. What we're going to do with that position. Most years you're taking 1, but then sometimes you get in some situations where you're going to end up having to take 2. So at that time, we start telling them, you know, is with the guys that we're recruiting. We're like, you know, hey, we're going to take 2 in this class. So don't think just because you commit, we're not going to take somebody else.
He said that, I'm sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
Were you guys discouraged at all when he first committed to Duke, or was it the kind of mindset where, you know, you still think we have a great shot at it?
I think anytime you're recruiting a guy and he commits to another school, you know, what words you want to use, but you're not happy about it, you know. But at the same time, that's, you know, in the world of recruiting, I mean, it happens all the time where a guy, you know, a kid may do that, and then, you know, a month later he decides that maybe that's not sure, you know, what he wants to do. And so usually what we do is when a kid makes a commitment, we usually ask, you know, do you want us to continue to recruit you or not? And if they tell us they don't want us to recruit them, then we don't recruit them. If they tell us they would like us to continue to recruit them, then we feel like the door's still open, and we'll continue to do that.
He said after the game Saturday that feels like he's made a lot of progress from week to week since the season started. What 1 or 2 areas has he made the most progress from the beginning of the Cal game?
I would say just in his confidence alone, you know, because he's beginning to, you know, he's beginning to get comfortable out there. You know, he's beginning to get comfortable with making a mistake, you know, because you're going to make some mistakes, you know, and it's not going to be the end all. So I think he's just more comfortable out there just doing the things that we do, and I don't think he's so worried so much. So I think, you know, I mean, I'm not going to say that the game slowed down for him yet, but I think he's just more at ease making decisions.
Is he making a lot of good decisions as far as those tags and when to keep it and when to throw?
Yeah, so far he has.
Larry, the offense has converted, I think, 14 of 38 third downs, which I know is below kind of what you aimed for. Is there a common theme to some of those issues?
You know, there's really not just a common theme. I mean, it's been a multitude of things, whether, you know, you're a breakdown in protection based on, you know, personnel that you have on the field, lack of continuity, you know, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons. It's not just one thing that, you know, is dictated. It hadn't been, okay, this quarterback hadn't done it, or this receiver has run the wrong route. Just, you know, it's been a, you know, because if it was, it'd be easier to fix if it was one thing.
Larry, what particular challenges does Duke's offense, given the diversity with the 2 running backs who can break it and their veteran quarterback, what, you know, challenges do they present?
Yeah, I think they're, you know, is it Daniel Jones? I think he's done a really good job of running their offense, you know, and you know, David's always he's always done a great job of preparing his football team. But I think he feels really comfortable with this kid. This kid can do everything that I think he wants to do offensively. So he's able to attack you in a multitude of ways. You know, he can do it with his arm, he can do it with his legs. He's good in the RPOs, you know, which is all that's gonna open up things, you know, for those running backs.
When you look at Daniel on tape, you probably saw him, you know, last November before you played him. Now you get a chance to look at him again here in September. What is it? The same guy, or is it different? What have you noticed?
He's the same guy. I mean, he's probably more comfortable now, and they're able to do more things with him. You know, they're probably more comfortable with some of the calls that they make, knowing that he's going to make good decisions. And so he's, you know, I think he's a really good player.
They've posted some pretty impressive defensive numbers so far. What are they doing defensively while they're having a lot of success?
Well, there are a lot of pressure. You know, a lot of pressure, a lot of movement up front with their D-line. You know, they're playing a lot more man coverage. I mean, they'll play cover 1, cover 0. They'll do it all and outnumber you in the box. I mean, I don't think they've given up 65 yards in a game rushing, I think, this year out of the 3 games they've played. So they're you know, they're getting after it pretty good.
Obviously, Andre Smith did play on Saturday. How did the guys, John Smith,
Yeah, I thought you know, Cole Holcomb played his best game that he's had so far this year, and so, you know, when John Smith came in, and John Smith did some really nice things. I mean, you know, there were a couple plays that we would have liked to have gotten him in better position, but overall, I thought he did well.
Coach, another one of the young players that played with Miles Wolford. What did you see out of him, and what versatility does he provide in second?
Yeah, well, Miles going into the year was going to be our starting nickel, and then when he went down at the end of the summer, you know, it forced us to do some different things. But it was nice to get him back. I think that was his first series out there when he got the pick, you know, so that was a big play. But you know, he really gave us some things that we thought we were going to have at the beginning of the season, so we can do multiple things and do more things with MJ Stewart now.
He's played some safety and corner, right? Or he came in as a safety?
Yeah, he came in as a safety, and we played him in some corner and trying to train him so that he could be the nickel, because you know, he's got coverage skills, he can cover, but he can also support. So we wanted to be able to do more. You know, we wanted to put him in that position. We could get more out of him.
Larry, the attendance for the first 2 home games hasn't been probably what you guys would have liked to have seen. What do you attribute some of those issues to, and what do you guys feel like you need to do to maybe improve that?
I think you know, attendance is an issue all over the entire country. I think you know, now that every game is on TV, I think it's much more difficult to get people in the stands. This is the way it is. You know, and TV's you're trading TV dollars for butts in the seats is what you're doing. And so I mean, it's just the way it is. You know, you continue to try to make the game day atmosphere fun for people, and letting you know, people and their families know that they can come and have a whole day of entertainment instead of just, you know, a 3-hour game. That it can be an entire deal with tailgating, and they can just come and have fun with their family. And so, you know, hopefully that will continue to grow.
In your mind, do attendance issues have an effect on, you know, things like recruiting, or how fired up your team is, or any, you know, is there a tangible effect that you notice between?
I mean, you know, we talk about, you know, as a team. I mean, this is something that we've been preaching since day one. That it really doesn't matter who we play, where we play, when we play, what the surface is, what the weather is. You know, all those different things that we don't control. We try not to let that affect anything that about the way we play the game. We should always play the game the same way. And so I'm going to say no. Recruiting-wise, I think it's an issue that everybody in the country is dealing with, and everybody worries about it. You know, I think every administrator worries about it. I mean, because it's something that, you know, that everybody wants a full stadium. You know, and we got to find a way to make it happen.
Do you like playing a rivalry game this early in the season?
Doesn't matter. You know. I mean, we're going to play them, and the conference said we're going to play them early, and so, you know, we gotta be ready to go no matter what. Would
you prefer to play a rivalry game later in the season?
Yeah, I like them later in the season. I do, but it just, you know, that's another change I think that's coming with you know, with all the TV stuff, is that they're gonna dictate when we play, and so it's not necessarily going to happen at the end of the year.
Is that the reason why this?
Oh, I couldn't tell you that.
Branching off of that, the last couple of years you played Duke and State, if not back to back, within a week or 2 of each other.
Yeah, I don't like that.
So you like this better?
I do like having a little bit of room between them. Yes, I mean, because I think it's you know, we've got, you know, there aren't a whole lot of teams that have multiple rivalries in a season, so it's tough to do that back to back.
Is it safe to assume that you're aware that this is the earliest Duke and Carolina have ever played in football?
That's not safe to assume, no. But I don't know.
It is. It's the first time played in September.
Okay, thank you.
Coach, I
Not safe to assume.
imagine that, what was the team's attitude yesterday when you all gathered together, you know, after a win instead of coming in here?
I mean, if you were out there every Sunday up until this point, you wouldn't have known any difference. I mean, and that's a good thing, because that's the way I want our guys to handle it. You know, they were obviously very happy after the game and Saturday night, and you know, when we come to practice on Sunday, we know we're going to be critical about whether it's a win or a loss. We got to get all the corrections made, and then it's put that game to bed because it's over with, and then let's move on. So, but they moved around just like they did the other Sundays. I mean, they really have. I mean, I wouldn't tell you that they were overly excited. I mean, they were just like they were on the other Sundays.
So is the Big Three Bell still dark blue to your knowledge? Like last year, wasn't it like a joint?
I haven't seen it. I got no idea. I really don't. That's safe to assume.
But last year it was like this both school decision to do the half and half thing. Remember that? I mean,
yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, now that you brought that up, I do remember that. I got no idea. I hadn't even thought about that. I really don't know.
One thing about JJ, Charlie Hicks said after the game that JJ's doing a really good job with all of his calls. You can hear him. It's like he'd been there for a while.
Yeah, he you know, we were, You know, and that's something that you know, sometimes you take for granted. You know, here's a kid, he's starting his first game and at the center position, and we didn't have any bad snaps. We had, you know, he communicated well. There were very few issues, you know, of a lack of communication or somebody didn't hear somebody. So that's a big plus. So I mean, you know, I'd say that JJ did a great job for us.
Is it
It's safe to
surprising?
assume you're pleased with JJ.
Yeah.
Is it surprising how good he's doing so far? I mean, came in the Louisville game.
I don't know. I mean,
First game.
I'm surprised. I mean, you know, that's what you train for, and he, you know, I'll tell you what you can, you know, what you can say is the guy was a backup, and he prepared himself as if he was going to be a starter, and the opportunity came up, and he took advantage of it, and he did a really nice job, and so that's not easy to do.
Anything else?
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks.